Well, are you the oldest in your house?
God.
God.
I'm
Who, the next Paddy Joe now?
Paddy Joe.
What age is Paddy Joe?
Well, Paddy Joe's younger than me and I was about 83.
So he's around about 80.
He was pushing that road. Aye.
Please.
They were in good shape for it, isn't
Hey?
I hope
good shape.
I hope I inherited the genes that you boys have got.
Well, I don't know so much about that. See, there's no such a thing as age now.
Oh no. Funny, I heard, just was reading a thing in the weekend, some woman interview with this woman, and she said that her mother had died and she was 70, and she said she was only a young woman. You know, whenever you think about it.
Oh, that's right. There's
That's right.
medication and what in Russia. The chemists and the doctors were ready to vote for a fortnight or 3 weeks, the whole thing would be away.
The way I read not much on the weekend.
That's right. I wouldn't be any doubt about that.
So basically what we want to do is then, like, you know, we would just want you to tell, realising that your audience is going to be school children, or so you want to sort of paint the picture of what life was like whenever you were working in the coal mine and all. So what just basically tell us what it was like. We have no idea either what it was like.
Oh, well, I tell you, that's not recording there now, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
What just you talk away? Anything you say,
talk
any
away.
bad word and all will be cut out of it.
Aye, I never say bad word. It was the same as going to a day's work if it could become familiar to you. You know, you were the same as a man going to work on the sand pit, the same as me going to work at the pit. You know, the pit sounded wonderful and different, like, you know, and you're down under the ground and what was going on there and what happened was not going on there, you didn't done a day's work. But you know what I mean? And your surroundings was a wee bit different. And I don't know what way you were explaining, Monica.
But was it dangerous work? Like,
there's
had you much space first? I'm trying to visualise you in a tunnel.
Aye.
The way you see it on the television and all there. But you were there. You worked in it.
Aye.
When did you start?
Oh, just I couldn't tell you when I started, but I could tell you when I finished in 1970. I was 14 or 15 years in it. That's a short lifetime. And why or how I got till it? I got till it with Frank Fawson and the Glen. You know, and I was knocking about and I wasn't working, and that didn't happen too often, like. And Frank Fawson and the Glen said, "You're not a working boy." I said, "No, I'm not working. Do you want a job?" I says, "I want a job. Sure, that's what I'm down to a bit of it." Right, he says, "I'd have a job for you Monday morning. Called you down here." And Frank Fawson was the man that got me a job through. And my dad worked in the pit, but he didn't want anybody working on it, like it was different. It wasn't. It had got a wee bit mechanised, but a wee bit. They were on a bit working with wee hutches with 300 or 400 weight of stuff in it, and we were on a bit working with hutches at 1100 weight of stuff in it. So on the same rail system and the same ground system and all that there was nothing modernised, no, there was nothing in that line. They came to the you went down the shaft roughly about 400 feet, and there's a road in off that shaft, and it went straight right across the workings of the coal. The coal all lay at 1.4 foot in that direction, dipping to the loch exactly. The way it went. And then we went down that there, and we started to walk down into that from this base of the main road, what we call the main road. The all coal and clay and stuff that was mined was took up on, drew up onto this road on a rope on a winch, and it was burled round and run down to where the cage was put onto the cage and up to the hill. And that was the routine of it, like.
Whenever you say that you worked on it, was it just like with picks or?
Oh, why, yeah, why, that was the main implements, pick and navvy, shovel, and that was it.
So this is just like a wall of coal
That's
that
right.
you were just digging at?
No, we would have exploded it, would have blew it, like.
Right.
We would have put boreholes into it on here and there and under, and And what you call it?
Exploded it.
Aye, well,
But after that exploded then, so basically what you were really doing was just handling the stuff, you were really just shoveling it,
Well,
loading it onto the...
you had to go in and shovel it, and you had to make your roof safe as you moved along on. And it had to be propped and secured on. And you had to take rails in with you, and you had to take the stuff that you had put in out on these bits of rails on. You'd been going down like that there at times on. And there was a big headroom like.
Well, then, did you build the rail as you went along?
Oh, I had to take it with us for to take the buggies up to where we worked. Oh, why?
But you see in that area that you're talking about there, how many men at a time could have worked in that there?
Oh, well, we worked in, there was different systems operated there. There was what you call a heading system, 6 foot broad and maybe 7 or 8 foot broad, 6 foot high, and that was for fire clay. That was for fire. You see, she'd produce fire clay for to make them liners and stuff in the yard down there.
Never knew it.
And it was all took up and used, tipped into the lorry at the pit head there, and the...
We'll just get back to the rail again, Jimmy. You built the rail as you went along, but you just had to level the floor.
Oh, why? Well, you leveled that there as you went along, taking out your product, like whether it was clay or coal.
And then did the rail sit on sleepers? Did you put sleepers?
Well, sometimes if you were working on clay, there was a very heavy... you was 1,100 of clay in a hutch, so you had to have someone fairly secure and under you for to transport it, like stand a unit. So that was the bit. But in the coal itself, we would have came off a main road and we could have took a length of rails, 7 or 8 foot, on our hand, 2 rails that were welded together, and you took them, you just shut them into one another. They're very temporary, And then whenever you had when you had went as far as you were going, or you had to go with that particular, you just lifted these rails all and took them back out with you again.
Well, do you see there, whenever you went, whenever you exhausted a vein or something, you couldn't go any further, it wasn't maybe worth digging. What did you do? Did you open up a new seam or what? Or
Well, you went in at a different place. You see, that there was what you call a long wall down there. There was one particular time there was what we called a long wall, and you could have seen the later men from here till the church corner. 1,000 foot of it. And these men was in their sections here and there and all working on. It didn't last long, because the strata wasn't just exactly right for it, there was too many faults and too many carry-ons, and the one roof, it wasn't a true run roof, if you know what I mean, the difference, I can explain to you, the only way I can explain to you is I don't know none about this, the minerals in this country are all frackled and all grew. You'd have coal here and you go down there and there'd be a way. Do you know what sort of way? And you would have fire clay here the same. There was a fault there, what they called the North Boundary Fault. And it run from here right through to England. Right through to England, that North Boundary Fault run that whole cut of ground. And we were sent till... We were sent to a mining college, 4 of us, Hughie Devlin and Bob Chardle and Dick Templeton and me. And we went to this mining for to learn to read these lumps for gas, testing for gas. It came a government rule out that this place had to be tested for gas every morning, and we were the men were selected for to do it. And then that there wasn't ever really any gas much in her, but it had to fulfil the law, you see, and there had to be men that was, I don't know what you'd call it, trained or not,
Qualified.
That could take this lamp and light it and set it and go in and know where to test for. Yeah. It's as simple as that. I wouldn't profess to be any expert on the transaction or anything, but I could test for gas as far as that far.
Just going back a wee bit, James, whenever you went down, the first time you went down, the very first time, how did you feel? Was there any claustrophobia or...?
Oh, I never was affected that way. I never was affected that
You
way.
just went on.
You see, I was up and down and there's a lad, like, you know, where old fella could rest them on. He worked on it, and I was there.